Good morning. First, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Board of Trustees for allowing me the privilege to deliver this citation in recognition of my dad, Dennis J. Murray, better known as DJM by the Marist students. As I reflected on your professional career and who you are as a person, 3 core principles you embody became evident. First, your commitment to excellence. You've always held aspirational goals, and your perseverance to obtain those goals is noteworthy. At a young age, you understood the value of higher education. You were the first person in your family to graduate from college while working full-time to pay your own tuition. From an ambulance driver to selling tools at Sears, you did whatever it took to obtain your goal. At age 32, you became president of Marist College, and your aspirations grew bigger, and your perseverance grew stronger over the years, taking a little-known college in Poughkeepsie, New York, to a nationally ranked college, attracting top students from across the country and around the world. You have supported the college faculty in developing a first-rate educational experience for Marist students, creating more than 50 new academic programs. Marist is now recognized for academic excellence. Your commitment to excellence is evident in the transformation of Marist College over the past 4 decades. Second, your commitment to service and community. Your commitment to service and community is a direct reflection of your servant leadership. You've created a tight-knit community at Marist College where giving back to others is a core value that we live by. You created a beautiful college campus where students learn and thrive together. Your service continued beyond the pillars of Marist, serving on multiple community boards and directly impacting the region with your thought leadership. You've always said that successful leaders build strong teams by surrounding themselves with the best and brightest. From the Board of Trustees to the faculty, to the staff to the students, to community organizations throughout the Hudson Valley, you have surrounded yourself with the best and brightest and have built the strongest teams during your tenure. Third, your commitment to family. As a husband, a father, and now a grandpa to 5 grandchildren, Declan, Connell, Keegan, Charlotte, and Benjamin, you have always been our North Star in our lives. You knew how to pick us up when we were down and share words of encouragement. You're always quick to provide sound guidance, even when not solicited. While academics always came first in our house, your love for sports remained a close second. Over 20 years of playing competitive sports, you never missed one of my soccer games, nor one of Marion's swim meets. You could always be heard cheering from the sidelines. I didn't realize it at the time, but it became clear later in life. Marist College was your extended family. Your nights and weekends were consumed attending student events at Marist, cheering on the Red Foxes from the sidelines, and sharing words of encouragement along the way. Your love and commitment for your family and Marist College is unwavering. As we all know, with any strong family, there's always a special person, the glue that holds us and everything together. Dad, I'm talking about your better half, Marilyn Murray. Mom, you have been the cornerstone of our family and the Marist community, and we thank you for keeping Dennis in line throughout your 51 years of marriage together. In closing, my late grandpa, Herbert Murray, presented my dad the Marist College President's Medal during his inauguration on April 27, 1980. Dad, today, it is my honor and privilege to share this platform with you as we celebrate your lifetime of leadership and service. In recognition of these achievements and for your embodiment of the principles of Marist College, the Board of Trustees proudly confers upon you the degree of Doctor Humane Letters, Honoris Causa.
Thanks, guys. So those are my 5 grandchildren, and they surprised me. So this is a very special day. Thanks all of you for being here. So congratulations and welcome home to the class of 2020. Let me begin by welcome home. Let me begin by thanking the Board of Trustees and President Weinman for my honorary degree. I've always considered Marist to be one of my alma maters, and now you've made it official today. I'm also pleased my family could be here with me. Mike mentioned Marilyn. She's really the one that should be receiving the honorary degree. And I was thinking if they did write a citation for her, the first sentence would probably read, "You put up with him for 51 years, you must be a saint." So. Anyway, thank you to Michael for the leadership he's shown in his corporate world, but for the service he gave in the Marine Corps 6 years after he graduated from Marist. He served in Iraq, Afghanistan, saw combat there, and really knows the meaning of the weekend we celebrate. My daughter here is Marion, and she didn't graduate from Marist, but she swam for the Marist Red Fox swim team, and with her husband Chris and Michael's wife Rachel, and again those 5 great grandchildren. 2 years ago, we made a promise to the class of 2020 that when we could hold a commencement for them, we would do so. I'd like to thank President Weinman, the Commencement Committee, the Academic Affairs Office, our Student Affairs team, our Alumni Office, our Buildings and Grounds crew, who always do such a great job for us here, for keeping that commitment. I'd particularly like to acknowledge 3 individuals from your class who really put a lot of time and effort into assuring this weekend was good for you. So would Joe Sarchi, Spencer Hogan, and Mark Palmer please stand and let your class thank you for all the work you did. But most importantly, I want to thank the class of 2020. I'm proud to be receiving my degree with all of you, and I'm really grateful you asked me to say a few words for you today. It'll be short, but it's, I think, a message that I wanted to leave with all of you. As many of you know, I've had a great interest in the topic of leadership since my father took me to hear John F. Kennedy deliver his famous New Frontier speech in the LA Coliseum in 1960. I was just fascinated by that event. You know, why are people drawn to a leader? How do they inspire them? How do they lay out a plan to change our nation as he did in that speech? And one of the great things about being president for Marist for nearly 4 decades has been the opportunity to meet, work with, and observe literally some of the world's most successful leaders in government, business, and nonprofit organizations. Over those 40 years, I've reached 3 general conclusions about organizations and leadership, and let me just briefly share those with you. First, I'm absolutely convinced that high-performing, effective organizations are absolutely necessary in all sectors of our society. They're important for the stability of our nation and the quality of our lives. Second, it's almost impossible to have effective, high-performing organizations without effective leadership at all levels of the organization. And here was the thing I guess I really came to grips with later in life, and that is the skills that allow leaders to be effective in their organizations are really the same skills necessary to live a productive and meaningful life. Let me talk a little about those 4 skills with you. First of all, know and fulfill your purpose. Second, you have to be able, regardless of what you do in life, to work effectively with and through other people. Third, you have to be guided by your values. And right from day one, you have to think about leaving a meaningful legacy. Let me talk a bit about each of these. First of all, the ability to know and fulfill your purpose. All organizations in this world are established for the purpose of meeting human needs. Being a leader provides an opportunity to meet those needs and improve the quality of life for others. This is what gives leadership meaning and why it's so important. And when I speak of meeting individual needs, first and foremost, I'm referring to the needs of the people the organization serves. If an organization consistently meets the needs of the people they serve, it can also fulfill their other obligations to stakeholders, including employees, investors, funders, and local communities where they reside. Organizations that meet the needs of all their constituents year in and year out stand the test of time. It doesn't matter if it's governments, businesses, or nonprofit organizations. Meeting those needs is what gives organizations the right to continue to exist. Now, people are chosen for leadership positions in all organizations by decision makers because they believe that those are the individuals that can achieve the goals that will fulfill the purpose of the organization. They don't have to be the smartest among us. They don't have to be the most virtuous. They don't even have to be the most charismatic. They just have to possess that right stuff to get the job done and fulfill the purpose of the organization. Accepting this responsibility and producing the needed results is the essence of what leaders do. The second skill is the ability to work effectively with and through other people, regardless of what you're doing in life. Leaders cannot accomplish an organization's purpose by themselves. They need the cooperation, support, and work of people throughout the organization. I know this firsthand. While the citation that Michael read was very flattering, I know full well that the achievements that were mentioned there do not belong to me, but to the people who actually did the work, the faculty, the staff, the students, the alumni, and our Board of Trustees. I also was reminded of something my mother always told me when someone gave you an overly generous compliment, and that was to treat it like chewing gum. It was to be enjoyed but not swallowed. Well, I appreciate those great remarks, but believe me, I'm not going to swallow them. So leaders gain support from others by using the legitimate tools of influence to engage and motivate those they work with in what I call shared purpose. To create shared purpose, leaders must do two things. First, they must demonstrate to those they seek to lead that they genuinely care about the welfare of the people they're working with. People need to know how much you care before they care how much you know. In 1997, Maya Angelou spoke here at the college, right in this arena, and she drove that point home eloquently. She said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." When people know you generally care about them, it then becomes possible to align the fulfillment of their wants, needs, and aspirations with the fulfillment of the organization's goals, which fulfill its purpose. In our increasingly complex and interconnected world, leaders must create shared purpose if their organizations and our society is to be successful. The third skill is being guided by your values. Regardless of the results you produce, if you do not act ethically, they do not qualify as leaders within this definition. Effectiveness alone is not sufficient. Leaders must be informed by values. What kind of people are we? What kind of society do we want to live in? What does our organization care about? What do we owe to each other? To ensure an organization operates within an appropriate ethical framework, leaders have three key responsibilities. They must help the organization define and know what its values are. They must affirm those values, both with their words, but more importantly, with their deeds. And they must protect those values that the organization has through its policies and its procedures and its statements. People will go to extraordinary lengths to accomplish personal and organizational goals if they know they were based in values. Lincoln, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, all the great leaders have understood the importance of shared values. The final quality I'll mention of leaders, and again, qualities for life, is that you're willing to try to leave a legacy. What will those who have been led by you say when they reflect on your tenure as a leader? If you've been a true leader, they will not only recognize your success in fulfilling the purpose of the organization and meeting the needs of others, but they will also know that you left the organization poised for future success. This will be your legacy, things that you have done for the benefit of others who come after you. A meaningful legacy means two things. First of all, leaders do not kick the can down the road and leave problems or issues for others to solve. They do not burn the organization with legacy challenges like unreasonable debt, outdated technology, or environmental problems that we're experiencing today. Second, leaders leave in place an organization with the systems and culture that position it for future success. First of all, a bench of future leaders, a workforce with a scale and the commitment to tackle emerging opportunities, a culture that embraces innovation, technology, and change, and most importantly, an organization whose members have, in the words of Walter Lippmann, the conviction and the will to carry on. So this brings me to my final point I want to leave you with here today. Don't wait to lead. Our nation needs you now. Look around at our challenges, and you know how desperately we need a new generation of leaders. And there's opportunities for you to lead currently in the workplace, in your community, in the organizations you can volunteer for and help be successful, or even in your family. And I know this class can take on these leadership positions because you've already demonstrated one of the most important qualities of leadership, and that's resilience, or what some people simply call grit. What COVID threw at your class wasn't fair, but you proved that you were resilient time and time again. You faced the challenges you had head on, you adapted, and you had the courage to endure. You began your careers, started your graduate programs, and moved forward with your lives. You showed true grit. Now, there's still much more to be done, and I know there's going to be challenges that lie ahead, but I know you're ready. Archimedes said, "Give me a place to stand, and I will move the world." Well, very few of us here today will have a chance to change the course of human history, but all of us will have a chance to change a small portion of events that affect the way we live our lives and the quality of the lives of those around you. Individuals in your family, your workplace, and your community will all be affected by the way you live your lives. So as you sit here today, your long-term future may be outside your vision, but it's not outside your control. God put you on this earth not to adjust to it, but to make it better. You've helped make Marist a better place, you've shown grit, and now you must go out and do the same for our nation and the world. God bless you, and congratulations to the class of 2020. Thank you.